Hi, I'm Chris, and today we're going to be assembling the next Gauntlet 26-inch mountain bike. Before we get started, you'll need a few tools: a 6mm Allen key wrench, an adjustable wrench, one or two 15mm wrenches, a Phillips head screwdriver, and a standard Schrader-type tire pump. Scissors or a box cutter may also be helpful. Open the box and check that all parts are present. You can check against the list in the assembly manual. If any parts are missing or damaged, or if you have any trouble with the assembly, don't return to the store. Call Dynacraft at 1-800-551-0032. We strongly recommend reading the manual or watching this video all the way through before beginning. If you aren't comfortable with the assembly, you should bring your new ride to your local bike shop to have a qualified mechanic put it together for you. In any event, you need to read the entire owner's manual that came with the bike before you ride, or let anyone else ride it. This video is not a substitute for the manual, which contains very important information for the safe use of your new bike. As we assemble the bike, it's a good idea to place a little white grease or anti-seize compound on the seat post, stem, and thread of the bolts to prevent rusting. Got your tools? Let's get started. You'll see that the frame, handlebars, front wheel, and other components are attached with zip ties. Lift everything out in one piece and set it down with the chain facing upwards. Cut the zip ties and remove any padding or packaging. First, align the fork. Rotate it, making sure the fork is pointing in the right direction with the brake facing forward. On to the pedals. Remember the old saying, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey? Well, for bicycle pedals, that's only half true. Fortunately, the side that turns right is on the right. The left pedal is reverse threaded, so make sure you choose the correct pedal for each side. A red sticker should indicate the right side, and a green sticker is for the left. Place the pedal into the crank and use your fingers to get it started. Threading it can be tricky, so make sure to do it correctly. Regardless of which side you're working on, the top of the thread will rotate towards the front of the bike to tighten the bolts. Once you finger tighten the pedals, use your 15mm wrench to snug them down. They are properly tightened when the pedal spindle, which is the axle that the pedal platform spins around, begins to bite into the metal on the crank. Your next Gauntlet bike has a quick-release seat post, so installing the saddle is very easy. Just add a little white grease inside the seat tube and slide the post into the seat tube. Estimate the placement while making sure the minimum insertion mark is hidden, and tighten the quick-release lever. Rotating it clockwise with the lever open will tighten the clamp, and you lock it into place with the lever. It should take some effort to close it, but if you have to force it, loosen the lever one rotation. Again, we will set this part up for you later. Next, take a look at the handlebar assembly, which already has brake levers and shifters installed. Remove the plastic protector on the bottom of the stem and add a little white grease inside the steerer tube. Lift the handlebar assembly to the steerer tube, making sure this wedge is loose. Slide the stem down into the steerer tube, making sure any cables track smoothly along either side. For safe riding, the minimum insertion mark should never be showing. Align the stem by looking down at the fork. The handlebar should be perpendicular to the fork. Use a 6mm Allen wrench to fasten it in place. We will set it up later. Next, we'll install the front wheel. Start by opening the front brake. With one hand, squeeze these arms together to take tension off the brake cable. Now, just lift it out. Check the tire sidewall for the correct direction of rotation. The symbol will generally look like this arrow. If you can't find that symbol, it means the tire can be installed in either direction. Stand on the left side of the bike and hold it with one hand. Place the wheel on the ground and set the fork into the gaps between the hub and retaining washers. If there isn't enough room, just open the nuts a little farther. Install the two retaining washers with the raised lip pointed towards the fork and insert the tabs into the small hole in the fork blade. Use your fingers to tighten the wheel nuts evenly. We want the wheel to be in the middle of the fork. If it's not even, adjust the placement with the wheel nuts by loosening and tightening either side. Use your 15mm wrench to tighten the wheel. This is where that second wrench can be helpful. Now we need to check to make sure everything is tight. Standing in front of the bike, grab the wheel between your knees and try to move the handlebar from side to side. It should not move. If it does, tighten the stem a little more until it's secure. Hook the front brake back up. Just squeeze the arms together again and slide the cable back into place. Now it's time to pump up the tires. Check the sidewall of the tires for the correct inflation range, which will be a number followed by PSI. Our bike is built, but it's not time to ride yet. Before hopping on, we need to set up the bike for your body. Let's start with the seat. Standing to the left of the bike, open the quick release, then raise or lower the saddle so that it's just below your hips, making sure the minimum insertion mark remains hidden. Tighten it, then hop on to see how it feels. At the bottom of your pedal stroke, your knee should have a slight bend in it. Some people may prefer a somewhat lower seat height. The saddle should also always be parallel with the ground. Next, adjust the handlebar height by loosening the Allen bolt at the top of the stem and slide it up and down. Take note of the minimum insertion mark and make sure to check that the stem connection is properly tightened as we did earlier. Finally, we'll set up the handlebar rotation. Using an Allen wrench, loosen but do not remove the bolt holding the handlebar to the stem. Rotate the handlebar forward or back until you're at the right spot. It may take some trial and error to find the most comfortable spot. Be certain that the bar remains equal on either side. Now, retighten the bolt. It should not move on the handlebar when tightened properly. The brake lever can be adjusted by loosening the bolt here and rotating the lever into the desired position. Once the lever is positioned where you need it, retighten the bolt. Then, check that the lever is tight. It should not move on the handlebar when tightened properly. Great, we're set up. Now we need to make sure everything is working properly. Your bike may require some adjustments and tuning from a professional bike mechanic. Holding first the front, then the rear wheel off the ground, spin the wheel. Look through the brake pads. Give the brake handle a squeeze. The pads should be evenly spaced on either side of the rim, and they should contact it simultaneously, stopping the wheel so that it cannot be rotated with the brake engaged. If not, check the installation of the wheel. If the wheel is wobbling, the wheel may be out of true. That can be caused by uneven spoke tightness or some damage. In that case, you should go to a bike shop for assistance. Now let's check the shifters. If you don't have a bike stand, it helps to have a friend assist you. Holding the rear of the bike off the ground, use your left hand to pedal slowly. While you're doing that, shift through the gears with your right hand. The bike should shift smoothly and stay in gear without any extra noise. If not, you'll need to adjust the shifters, cables, or derailleurs. Again, see your manual or have a qualified bike shop take care of it for you. Before your first ride, it's a good idea to go over all the nuts and bolts, even those we didn't work on for this installation. Make sure they are snug, but don't over-tighten. You should also lubricate the chain using a lube specifically made for bicycles. Most other common oils will not provide the required lubrication. As you use your bike, never ignore unusual sounds and mechanical difficulties, as these can lead to a loss of control, and never neglect proper maintenance and tire inflation. Check your tires before every ride, and of course, always wear a helmet. So that's how we assemble your Dynacraft Next Gauntlet mountain bike. Now get out there, be safe, and have some fun. This video is for informational purposes only and does not replace the owner's manual supplied with the product. Please read the owner's manual for complete assembly instructions and important safety information. And remember, be safe. Hi, I'm Chris, and today we're going to be assembling the Next Gauntlet 26-inch mountain bike. Before we get started, you'll need a few tools. A 6mm Allen key wrench, an adjustable wrench, 1 or 2 15mm wrenches, a Phillips head screwdriver, and a standard Schrader type tire pump. Scissors or a box cutter may also be helpful. Open the box and check that all parts are present. You can check against the list in the assembly manual. If any parts are missing or damaged, or if you have any trouble with the assembly,